answering the most common questions about buying in South Florida. The macroeconomy and tax arbitrage, the death of the vacation home. Myth, welcome to the definitive guide to South Florida real estate in 2026. If you are watching this, you aren't just looking for a house, you are looking to position your capital in the most resilient economic node in the Western Hemisphere. For decades, the narrative was that people came to Florida to retire or to vacation. That narrative died in 2023. Today, South Florida is the new gravity center for global finance, technology, and logistics. We are no longer a sun and sand economy. We are a tax alpha and capital velocity economy. Why is everyone still moving here in 2026? To answer this, we must perform a forensic audit of capital migration. Between 2020 and 2026, Florida has seen a net influx of adjusted gross income that exceeds the GDP of many mid-sized nations. But why now? The 0% income tax arbitrage. In 2026, the spread between living in a high-tax state like New York or California versus Florida is no longer just a bonus. It is a survival strategy for high net worth individuals. When you factor in federal inflation and the cost of living, Florida's 0% state income tax acts as a 10 to 13% immediate raise on your purchasing power. The exit capital phenomenon. We are seeing what we call the great unlocking. Corporations are no longer just opening satellite offices in Brickell. They are moving their headquarters. Citadel, Microsoft, and the new AI hubs in West Palm Beach have created a permanent floor for property values. Is it a bubble? The forensic breakdown. Everyone asks, Carlos, when is the bubble going to pop? To understand why it won't, you have to look at the credit quality of the current buyer. 2008 was fueled by phantom equity and subprime debt. 2026 is fueled by liquidity. Over 45% of transactions in the South Florida luxury node are cash or high equity positions. We aren't seeing speculation, we are seeing wealth preservation. When capital flees instability, it seeks a safe haven. Florida real estate is the 2026 equivalent of gold, but with a better lifestyle ROI. Infrastructure and the resilience node. What about insurance? The insurance alpha strategy. This is the most common fear-based question. How do I afford the insurance? Here is the forensic truth. Insurance in Florida is a resilience filter. In 2026, the market has bifurcated. The sinking assets, older homes with 15-year-old roofs and 1990s electrical panels. These are uninsurable or prohibitively expensive. The insurance alpha, new construction or fully remediated homes. If a house has 2024 standard impact glass, a reinforced concrete roof deck, and elevated grading, insurance companies are actually competing for that business. To understand the 2026 price floor in South Florida, we must stop looking at comparables and start looking at flow of funds. In the last 24 months, the migration pattern has shifted from individuals seeking sunshine to entire corporate ecosystems seeking survival. When a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund moves from Chicago or Manhattan to Brickell or West Palm Beach, they aren't just bringing a CEO, they are bringing a support web of high-income professionals. These individuals don't buy homes, they deploy capital into residential assets. In 2026, we track what I call the wealth to inventory ratio. For every 100 high net worth families moving to the Tri-County area, we only have approximately 12 resilience node properties, post-2024 code, available. This massive imbalance between high velocity capital and low velocity inventory is why the bubble narrative fails. You cannot have a bubble when the buyers are sitting on 60% equity positions and 0% state income tax savings. The mistake buyers make is looking at the price and forgetting the carrying cost. A $1 million home with high resilience might cost less per month than an $800,000 home that is a maintenance trap. We analyze the vulnerability velocity of every zip code before we let our clients sign. The forensic audit of the exit capital, infrastructure, insurance, and the resilience hub. The forensic reality of insurance in 2026. The number one question every buyer asks in 2026 is, can I even afford the insurance? To answer this, we must perform a vulnerability audit. In the old Florida, insurance was a flat expense. In 2026, it is a risk-based filter. We have seen a massive bifurcation in the market. On one side, you have legacy assets, homes built before 2002 with original roofs and standard glass. These are becoming uninsurable or have premiums that consume 4 to 5% of the home's value annually. On the other side, we have the insurance alpha. If you buy a property that is hardened, meaning it has a 2024 plus secondary water resistance roof, impact rated openings, grade A, and elevated mechanical systems, you aren't just buying a house, you are buying a preferred risk profile. In 2026, the primary insurance carriers are actually competing for these resilient nodes. Your premium on a $2 million hardened home is often lower than the premium on a $900,000 legacy home. Resilience is the new currency. The impact of Brightline and the 15-minute city. Does being inland hurt my resale value? In 2026, the answer is a resounding no. We are witnessing the Brightline effect. As traffic in the Tri-County area reaches critical mass, proximity to high-speed rail has become more valuable than proximity to the ocean for the professional class. We call this transit-oriented equity. A home located within a 15-minute radius of a Brightline station in Aventura, Fort Lauderdale, or West Palm Beach is seeing a 12 to 15% connectivity premium over isolated coastal properties. The executive buyer of 2026 values time velocity above all else. If they can commute from West Palm to Brickell in under an hour while working on a high-speed Wi-Fi train, that property becomes a high-yield asset. We are mapping growth nodes based on transit infrastructure, not just zip codes. The 2024 building code, the new standard, should I buy new construction or a fixer-upper? This is where many buyers make a $100,000 mistake. In 2026, the cost of remediating a 1990s home to the 2024 building code standards is often more expensive than buying a new property from the start. The surcharge factor, labor and material costs for impact glass, updated roofing, and solar-ready electrical panels are at record highs. The permit lag. In 2026, the time to remediate can take up to 12 months in some jurisdictions. Buyers are choosing the immediate alpha of new construction or fully renovated turnkey assets. A property that is code resilient from day one offers an immediate 6 to 8% ease of living premium. If your property isn't ready for 2030, you are buying a depreciating liability. If it is, you are buying a 2026 grade asset. The rise of Tier 1 fiber optics and digital infrastructure. How does the internet affect my home value? In 2026, the digital infrastructure of a property is a top 3 decision factor. We are seeing a tech premium for homes pre-wired with Tier 1 10 gigabit fiber optic and dedicated server-ready rooms. The executive professional who is moving their $1.5 million capital to Florida is often a remote or hybrid worker. If a neighborhood has lag or inconsistent connectivity, that entire area is blacklisted by the elite buyer. We analyze the ISP resilience of every neighborhood before we recommend it. A home in a gig city node will always outpace the appreciation of a dead zone coastal property. Stop looking at the square footage and start looking at the hardening. In 2026, your home's value is determined by its insurance alpha, its connectivity to the Brightline, and its digital infrastructure. We are breaking down the 2024 building code and why a cheap house might be the most expensive mistake of your life. The rise of the digital closing alpha. How fast can I actually close in 2026? In the old market, a 30-day closing was the gold standard. In 2026, if you aren't ready to close in 10 to 14 days, you are losing the best asset to more agile capital. We are now utilizing AI-driven title curative services. In 2026, the title search isn't a manual process that takes a week. It is an instantaneous forensic sweep of the blockchain and public records. The remote online notarization are on. You can close on your Miami penthouse while sitting in a cafe in Dubai or Tokyo. The smart escrow. Funds are no longer lost in wire transfer limbo. We use verified instant settlement rails that ensure the moment the digital deed is recorded, the capital moves. If your realtor isn't using a digital-first workflow, they are costing you the deal. In 2026, transaction velocity is a competitive advantage. Contingency engineering, protecting the down payment. How do I protect my deposit in such a fast market? This is where contingency engineering comes into play. In 2026, we don't just fill out a form, we engineer a protection layer around your capital. The Insurance Contingency 2.0. Because of the insurance alpha we discussed in Section 2, a standard inspection contingency isn't enough. We build in a specific premium ceiling clause. If the quoted insurance premium exceeds a forensic threshold based on the home's value, you have a safe exit. The resilience appraisal. In 2026, appraisals aren't just about comparables, they are about future value resilience. If the appraiser identifies climate lags or outdated infrastructure that isn't reflected in the price, we renegotiate based on the cost of remediation. We don't want you to just buy a house. We want you to acquire a liquid asset that you can exit at any time without a loss. The financing pivot in a high-rate environment. Should I wait for rates to drop? This is the biggest mistake of 2026. Smart money knows that price is permanent, rate is temporary. We use what we call the refi-ready strategy. We help you acquire the asset now while the competition is sitting on the sidelines, using creative debt structures like seller buydowns or hybrid arms that are specifically designed for a 24-month pivot. In 2026, the equity gap created by waiting for a 1% rate drop is often $100,000 or more in appreciation. You are essentially paying $100,000 to save $500 a month. That is bad math. We focus on the total capital outlay over 5 years, not just the monthly check. The post-closing audit, the 2026 handover. What happens after I get the keys? In 2026, the handover is a technical transfer. We provide our clients with a digital asset vault. Smart home transfer. We ensure all IoT protocols, EV charging permissions, and solar grid monitoring systems are legally and technically transferred to your encrypted profile. The maintenance forecast. You receive an AI-generated 5-year maintenance schedule based on the maintenance velocity of your specific appliances and systems. In 2026, being a homeowner means being the CEO of your residence. We provide the dashboard. Stop using a 1990s workflow for a 2026 market. We are breaking down digital closings, contingency engineering, and why waiting for rates to drop is a $100,000 mistake. If you want to move with transaction velocity, you need to understand the new rules of the game. Miami-Dade, the global gravity center. Is Brickell still the place to be in 2026? To answer this, we must look at the corporate density index. Brickell has evolved from a financial district into a global sovereign hub. With the completion of the latest Class A office towers, we are seeing a permanent floor on luxury condo values. However, the real asset velocity in 2026 is moving north and west. The Edgewater-Wynwood corridor, This is the AI tech node. In 2026, these neighborhoods have the highest concentration of 25 to 40-year-old high-yield professionals. If you own a property here with Tier 1 fiber connectivity, your rental yield is outperforming the beach by 22%. The Coconut Grove resilience for families, the Grove remains the gold standard. Why? Because of its elevation alpha. In 2026, buyers are paying a premium for high ground. We call this topographic equity. If you are 15 feet above sea level in Miami, you are in a fortress. Broward County, the lifestyle arbitrage node, where can I get the most value for my capital? In 2026, Broward is no longer just the space between Miami and Palm Beach. It is the logistics and quality of life hub. Fort Lauderdale's New River District. This is the Brightline Alpha at its peak. Professionals who work in Miami but want more square footage for their dollar are flooding this node. We are seeing a 1031 exchange wave moving from Miami into Fort Lauderdale luxury rentals, Weston and Pembroke Pines. These are the institutional suburbs. In 2026, these areas have the highest school to equity correlation. If a neighborhood is anchored by an A-rated school and has a post-2024 hardened infrastructure, it is a recession-proof asset. We track the permit velocity in these cities to predict the next 5% appreciation spike. Palm Beach County, the exit capital. Sanctuary. Is Palm Beach overvalued in 2026? Forensically, no. Palm Beach is currently experiencing a structural capital influx. The West Palm Beach, Wall Street South. This isn't speculation. It's a migration of trillions of dollars in assets under management, AUM. When the decision makers move, the capital stays. In 2026, West Palm Beach has decoupled from the rest of the Florida market. It is its own economic island. Jupiter and Palm Beach Gardens. This is the executive sanctuary. We are seeing a massive demand for compound-style living, properties that offer both extreme privacy and high-speed connectivity. In 2026, a resilient compound in Jupiter is the most sought-after asset class for the exit capital crowd moving from California. The 15-minute city forensic audit, how do I choose the exact street? In 2026, we apply the walkability to wealth ratio. The most valuable properties in 2026 are those where you can access a high-end grocery node, a tier 1 workspace, and a wellness node, gym/park, within 15 minutes without a car. This is why we focus on micro markets. A property on one side of a canal might have a 4% higher appreciation rate than the other side, simply due to its connectivity path to the local growth node. We don't just show you a zip code, we show you a lifestyle infrastructure. In 2026, we are mapping the Brightline Alpha, the AI tech corridors, and the topographic equity of South Florida. We are showing you exactly where the exit capital is parking their wealth and why certain neighborhoods are now recession-proof fortresses. The value recap, the cost of inaction. We have spent the last 6 hours performing a forensic audit of the South Florida landscape. We've covered the tax alpha, the insurance resilience, the digital infrastructure, and the growth nodes of 2026. But here is the hard truth. Information without execution is just noise. In the time it took you to watch this masterclass, the exit capital from California and New York has already absorbed more inventory in the prime nodes we discussed. In 2026, the cost of waiting is the most expensive tax you will ever pay. If you wait 6 months for the perfect moment, you aren't just missing a house, you are missing the equity velocity of a market that is structurally moving higher. The only one client philosophy. Why work with the South Florida Home Finder team? Because in a world of automated portals and part-time agents, we treat your capital with forensic precision. As our clients often say, we pay attention to your needs as if you were our only client. We don't just show houses. We engineer your entry into the Florida market. Whether it's Chantal analyzing the family architecture of a home or my team auditing the insurance alpha of a 2024 code asset, we are your risk mitigation engine. We are the filter between you and a $100,000 mistake. I am not asking you to buy a house today. I am asking you to audit your future. If you are ready to stop guessing and start engineering your wealth, here is your next step: the 2026 Asset Matrix. Everyone who books a call today will receive our proprietary South Florida Growth Node Matrix, the same internal data we use to identify undervalued resilience nodes before they hit the open market. We only take a limited number of new private wealth clients each month to ensure that only client level of service. If you are serious about 2026, the clock is ticking. We are South Florida Home Finder Team. Thank you for investing your time in this masterclass. In the South Florida market of 2026, the informed win and the outdated lose. Don't just follow the sun, follow the forensics. I'll see you at the closing table.